Dagenham sits deep in East London. More exactly, it's part of the London borough of Barking and Dagenham. And let me tell you, this area ranks high when it comes to danger. Out of all the boroughs in London, it sits comfortably in the top 10 most violent. In 2023 alone, the crime rate hit 123 crimes for every 1,000 people. That's 18% higher than the average across London. Inside this borough, Barking and Dagenham stand out as the two main areas. Altogether, around 211,000 people live here, based on the 2018 count. But what many people walking these streets don't realise is how heavy the gang war runs in this borough. Right here in Dagenham and Barking, street gangs have turned the roads deadly. Bodies have dropped on both sides. The main war is between Dagenham 109 holding down Dagenham and CBT with their allies running parts of Barking and Dagenham too. And now newer gangs are popping up like S17 and ASB. But don't worry, I'll break all that down for you as we go. Quick heads up though, we're not here to glorify the streets, this ain't no gas. We're here to unpack the facts, lay out the real story, and shine a light on the names that helped shape the UK drill scene. This is Ends Unshanked, raw stories from the blocks uncut. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Let's get straight into it. Dag 109 is just one of the big gangs inside this mess. They mostly hold down the RM9 and RM10 postcodes, plus areas like Heath Park. The 109s are basically the youngers that came up under the old hood gang that once ran Dagenham heavy. The older lot used to call themselves Dag, or Dag's hardest gang. Back then they repped the colour white, but these new generation 109s, they switched it up. Now they're mostly seen in blue. There was OSG, that's outskirt gangsters controlling Althorne Way inside Bayconk, Heath Estate. You had Deville running Dagenham Village. Then there was Marty, also called Hood Gang, locking down Millard Terrace and Heathway. Out of Marty's younger lot came 109, who grew into one of Dagenham's most active gangs. The 109s barely link with other gangs. They move EBK, meaning everybody killer, and have beef with almost everyone around them. That includes Sissop, G Block, ASB, Horrid Hill, and of course CBT. Now plenty of 109's youngers have either been arrested, dropped off road, or switched sides to other sets like Newham. Take YT for example. Once a major 109 older, but after prison he flipped to CGE. That's one reason why 109 isn't as dominant as it once was. But before we break down the deeper parts of this beef, let's talk about their main ops. First up, you've got CBT, Certified Barking Trappers. They hold down Harts Lane Estate, plus territory over at Academy Way Estate. Then you've got G Block, based over at the Gascoigne Estate. That's actually where UK rapper Potter Paper comes from. CBT and G Block are even locked in their own separate deadly beef. That one I'll cover in another video. Dag 109's beef list keeps going. They're also at war with Sissop, short for System, a smaller crew based on Ivescott Close, RM10, and in recent years, new gangs have stepped on the scene. ISB popped up over at Thamesview Estate in IG11. They've clashed with CBT, Horrid Hill, and more recently S17. S17's a newer crew made up of young Dagenham drillers. They started getting serious attention once Lil Zeno began dropping music and blowing up on TikTok. Lil Zeno's tracks like Dagenham started racking up views fast, but we'll dive into the ISB versus S17 situation later on. Now you might be wondering how all this beef even kicked off. Truth is, no one knows exactly. Some say these youngers inherited the old tensions that were already floating around Dagenham and Barking. As the next generation hit the streets, things just got more active. Sometimes the wars even spark over girls or money, as it usually does in these situations. If you know the full story behind how these sets started clashing, drop it in the comments. One of the first major bodies in this beef was Lynx, back in 2018. Lynx was allegedly repping CBT over in Harts Lane and Academy Way. His death ended up pulling even more gangs into the madness. On March 14, 2018, Lynx was stepping off a bus near Marks Gate, close to Chadwell Heath and Romford. What he didn't know, 6 members from a rival crew called Hannock, also known as OCM, were lurking nearby. The moment they saw Lynx, they started stalking him. As Lynx walked through an alleyway not far from his house, the OCM members rushed him. They attacked, stabbing him in the leg 5 times. After the stabbing, the attackers fled the scene. Police and medics showed up not long after. Lynx was rushed to hospital, but sadly, doctors couldn't save him. He was pronounced dead hours later. the police kicked off a full murder investigation. CCTV footage became key. After reviewing hours of video, all 6 attackers were tracked down and arrested within days of the stabbing. All 6 of the youths got found guilty. 2 of them were handed 16 years behind bars for the murder. 3 others got 14 years each. The youngest one, who was only 16 at the time, was sentenced to 11 years. Rest in peace, Lynx. But 2018, that year turned out to be pure madness. Just 2 months after Lynx was killed, another member from CBT lost his life, and that only threw more fuel on this deadly war between Dagenham and Barking. On the night of May 17, 2018, Manny, a member repping CBT, was standing not far from his house on Harts Lane. What Manny didn't clock was that G Block members were sliding that night, out hunting for ops. A white BMW pulled up carrying 4 G Block members. Manny spotted the car, but by then it was already too late. 2 of them jumped out and ran straight at him. They attacked with full force, stabbing Manny 18 times. The whole thing lasted just over 2 minutes. After the stabbing, they jumped back in the car and sped off. Police and paramedics arrived quickly, but sadly, even with the medics trying, Manny was pronounced dead at the scene. The murder sparked a full police investigation. They dug through hours of CCTV footage and pulled cell phone records from that night. Soon after, 4 men were arrested and charged for Manny's murder. Both attackers got hit hard in court. One received life with a minimum of 32 years, the other 23 years. Rest in peace, Manny. Even after his death, Manny still gets dissed by younger members from rival gangs, especially ASB, who are a newer crew. They've mocked Manny and others online and in tracks. One example is C3, who posted on Snapchat disrespecting Manny directly. Around this same period, another name would pop up, young Valente, who was linked with C17. And if that name sounds familiar, it should. Young Valente was actually cousins with AM from 410. Early 2018, he dropped a track called The Pledge, but sadly, he wouldn't live much longer after that release. On June 23rd, 2018, just a month after Manny's death, 15-year-old young Valente was at a birthday party. The spot was packed with other teenagers. Around 9 PM, a 17-year-old boy showed up. At some point, he stepped on young Valente's shoes. That small moment sparked tension. Words were exchanged. It quickly turned physical. A fight broke out between both groups, with DAG 109 members even being present. But it took a darker turn. The 17-year-old pulled out a knife and stabbed young Valente twice. The wounds were fatal. He was pronounced dead shortly after, even though police and paramedics got to the scene fast. The 17-year-old tried to run and passed the knife to a 21-year-old man named William Naweli to hide it. But within days, police connected the dots. Both got arrested. In court, the 17-year-old was found guilty and sentenced to 15 years for murder. William Naweli got 12 months in a young offenders institution for trying to cover up the crime. Rest in peace, young Valente. Years later, Valente's older brother would open up about the murder in a VE media interview. He spoke on how something as small as a shoe incident led to his brother losing his life. Both young Valente and his brother are cousins to AM from Brixton's 410, who at the time was blowing up heavy in the drill scene, racking millions of views. Young Valente wasn't only connected to his cousin, he also had close ties with Lil Slips from Hackney's Hoxton gang. Lil Slips even featured in Valente's local video. After Valente's passing, Lil Slips went on to drop his own tracks and build a name for himself, showing how much love young Valente had in the streets. As 2018 turned into 2019, CBT members also started putting out drill tracks. Sosa, YR and Spino dropped Since When on March 11th, 2019. The track was full of disrespect and sparked more tit-for-tat violence between the sets. Shootings and stabbings kept happening across Dagenham and Barking, but a lot of those incidents never made it to the news. Many stayed buried on the streets. By 2020 and 2021, new youngers started repping, and new sets like ASB and S117 emerged heavy. ASB held down Barking. S117 was based in Dagenham. Meanwhile, fresh faces were also stepping into DAG 109. Most of these new faces were youngers. Around early 2022, a 16-year-old named Tyler Hurley jumped into the music scene under the name Chucky. Chucky was allegedly connected to the Horrid Hill gang over in Romford, a crew that already had tension with both DAG 109 and ASB. On top of rapping, Chucky was also a boxer, but instead of keeping it clean, he started firing off diss tracks at his rivals. He linked up with his brother YC, and the two quickly became known on the roads as the Violent Siblings. Tyler stayed active on Instagram too. even posting a photo with the caption LOL. That caption hits different when you realize that only months later, Tyler or Chucky would become another victim of the streets. On February 20th, 2022, Chucky and YC dropped a track called Violent Twins. The song was packed with shots aimed at Dag 109. They even referenced the previous attack where a 109 member had been targeted weeks earlier. All that dissing only put more heat on Chucky. Dag 109 members were out actively hunting for him, and on March 14th, 2022, exactly 4 years after Lynx was killed, they found him. That afternoon, 16-year-old Chucky was on a bus in East London heading to meet his girlfriend. A Dag 109 member known as Screw was already sitting on that bus. The moment Screw clocked Chucky boarding with his friend, it was on. Screw slipped off the back of the bus and started chasing. Chucky's brethren managed to escape, but Chucky got trapped. Screw pulled out a zombie knife and stabbed Chucky straight through the arm. After that, Screw jumped off the bus and chased after Chucky's friend, but didn't get far. Police moved in and arrested him shortly after. Screw got charged with murder. Later that year, Screw was found guilty and sentenced to life, with a minimum stretch of 26 years. A photo even leaked of him sitting in his jail cell, where he'll now serve his time. Rest in peace, Chucky. Chucky had serious potential in the drill game. His tracks were pulling thousands of views. He was talented in boxing too, making moves in both lanes. But like so many others, this never-ending cycle of violence cut his life short. Rest in peace. Around the same time in 2022, another name started buzzing from ASB, Lil H, who happens to be C3's blood brother. Lil H was focused on football back in 2021, but not long after he hit the roads and started dropping music alongside C3. Together, they turned up the pressure on rivals across Dagenham and Barking. Lil H came with serious tunes and even built a trademark ad-lib. He shouts at the start of his tracks, "Cold Stuff." By late 2022, two members of Dag 109, Lil GR and Young, that linked up and dropped a hotbox freestyle. Lil GR, who also went by Lil Grams as his older brother is Grams, started catching a little buzz in the underground scene. The freestyle picked up around 36,000 views, but as 2023 hit, the violence flared up again. This time another life got taken. Butch, a member of SIS. On May 5th, 2023, Butch was standing near Dagenham Heathway tube station around 11 PM. Dag 109 members were on the prowl and spotted him. A fight broke out between them, and Butch ended up getting stabbed multiple times. The attackers fled and paramedics arrived shortly after, but even with medics trying their best, Butch was pronounced dead at the scene. Police launched another murder investigation and arrested a 15-year-old who was later charged for Butch's murder. There isn't much out there confirming whether that trial has taken place yet, but what's known is Dag 109 members were responsible. Rest in peace, Butch. Butch's death hit his family hard. His brother was Seamies from the 51st Alliance, who was also killed back in 2019. That means both of the parents lost two sons to the street wars. And it runs even deeper. It's rumoured that their cousin was Crimer from Hornsey, who got shot dead by Woodgreen. Another cousin, Pipes from Pembury, was also killed. Rest in peace. After Butch's death, Dag 109 member Tabs dropped a track called Open Up, and it was nothing but disrespect. In the video, Tabs steps out of a coffin while dropping the bar. He got put in a box. The video got taken down quickly, but re-uploads still exist. Tabs didn't hold back, dissing Chucky, Butch, Manny, Lynx and young Valente in that same track. Rest in peace to all of them. As 2023 went on, the beef between ASB and CBT took a dark turn. At one point, a rival member shot ASB C3 inside his own home. After that, C3 fully switched up, becoming what people on the streets now call a demon on roads. ASB members weren't just active on the roads, they started pushing music heavy in 2023. Rappers like AR and Nino started dropping music videos on ASB's independent YouTube channel, growing their name even more. These two dropped a track called Back to Basics. The song caught serious attention. Right now, it's sitting on around 130,000 views. Mad numbers, especially considering it was posted on their independent YouTube channel. By the end of 2023, you could feel things shifting on the roads. A lot of Dag 109 members started leaving the streets or linking up with other gangs. As numbers dropped, Dag 109's presence started fading. Then around October 2023, a new face from S117 in Dagenham started going viral, Lil Zeno. He previewed his upcoming track PTSD on TikTok. The clip started blowing up, pulling in thousands of views before he even officially dropped anything. On October 24th, 2023, Lil Zeno finally released PTSD. The track went crazy in the streets, building heavy buzz. It's currently sitting at over 633,000 views. That tune also grabbed attention, now sitting on 150,000 views. But it was his next release that really pushed him into the spotlight, Dagenham. The song took off heavy on TikTok. One particular bar went viral. "We got sticks. It ain't nothing like bamboo. I don't know kung fu. I ain't a panda." That track dropped on April 25th, 2024. But just a week after Dagenham dropped, things on the roads got violent again. In early May 2024, a rival gang caught a member of S17 known as D Nino. They shot and stabbed him in the same attack. After the hit, the attackers ran off. Paramedics showed up quick and airlifted D Nino from the scene. Luckily, he managed to pull through and survive. The whole aftermath was caught on video by a bystander, but the footage was too graphic to share online. In the days after, ASB members Nino and C3 jumped on TikTok. They filmed themselves dancing to Dagenham, laughing exactly when Lil Zeno's viral bar dropped. But it didn't stop there. A few days later, members from a rival set got hold of Lil Zeno's address. They pulled up to his yard and threw bricks through his windows while recording it all. After smashing up the place, they ran off. Thankfully, no one inside was hurt. By June 2024, things escalated again. An alleged ASB member spotted a CBT member on the road. Without hesitation, he started letting off shots. The whole shooting got captured on CCTV. The CBT member got hit, but thankfully survived after receiving treatment. Recently, another video surfaced showing an ASB member pressing a member of S17D Zeno on camera. In the clip, they're seen attacking him while saying, "Man's on the block with your favorite rapper." Since that incident, things have been fairly quiet on the streets. No major incidents have been reported so far. But honestly, let's be real. I hope everyone involved finds a way out and focuses on music instead. Because this road life, it only leads two places, jail or death. Nothing good ever comes from it. The people you think are your people now won't be there when you're 20 years deep inside. They'll move on with life and you'll be the one left doing the time. So trust me, this life ain't worth it. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like, drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe. Rest in peace to everyone mentioned in this video.